Okay everyone, we're gonna actually have to create something as beautiful as this. I'm gonna show you how to do this with the custom template from PowerPoint. So we're gonna be using PowerPoint to create this particular template and use it in our dashboard right on Power BI, desktop, and create this particular beautiful dashboard about what? About child abuse analysis and all of that. So now, without any further ado, let's get on it. Here come a new PBIX. So what I'm gonna do is just to have this one clicked on get data. Okay, first of all is to understand the extension we want to get. I think it's some kind of Excel. I'm gonna double click on this, right, and just wait for it for a while to have the folder open for you. And right away I'm gonna come right here and click on this, and I'm gonna go to child abuse. Here we go. I'm gonna click on that, and here we go. We have this right here, and just double click to have it opened. So right away, what we're gonna do is just to push it to Power Query. Even though if you're sure, you might really some time want to do some checking and see if you have something so to be some kind of moved out. So now we are pushing this to Power Query to see how we can do the cleaning and push it back to Power BI and go create our template and start to get what we want out of it. So we have those two tables right here. We can check those tables and see what we have inside them and see which one is actually the best one for we to actually use and all of that. So you can see the tables we have right here. I'm going to check this one too. I think I have two tables, and this is not what I'm looking for. So what I'm looking for is actually this one right here. I'm going to check this, and that is cool. So I'm going to push it. If you look at it right now, we have a lot of null right here, which means those particular columns are not going to be useful to us. I'm going to click on this particular transform data, and I'm going to wait for a while to actually have the data right here. Okay, here comes our data on this particular platform called Power Query. What we're going to do right now is to check the quality of the data we have right here. So I'm going to actually click on this particular part right here where we have this particular column quality right in. I'm going to click on it, and if you look at what we have right here, we just have 98% valid, and we have empty to be 2%. And I'm going to come right here. You can see 24% is actually empty. And if we can still continue scrolling through and see what it is, so now you can see it's not really healthy. It's not healthy at all. So now the column is actually not healthy. The only column I can actually say is healthy right now is this particular state column right here. And if I scroll this way right now, you can see this is actually 100% now empty, right? So the first thing we're going to do right now is to start our cleaning from this particular three columns. So just highlight this one and click on the shift key and come to the third one right here where you have 100% empty and take it off, which means this is not really important. We don't want to use this. So what you can do right now, it is either you right click or you click the delete key on your keyboard to have this away, which I'm going to do right now and have it go. So one thing I'm happy about is actually this particular part right here where we have the stops being recorded for us, so we can time travel, as I always said. So in case you want to bring it back, what you can do is to actually click on this particular cancel, and what you're gonna have is having those particular columns back, right? That is what it is. So we have those columns back. So I'm just trying to actually show you what it is that you can have by actually taking it back. So we don't want that, so I'm gonna actually take it off again. Now it's gone finally, so we don't want it. Okay, what are we gonna do to this particular part where we have some kind of empty and stuff like that is for we to replace the value with a particular, to replace the empty with a particular value. So what are we going to do right now? How do we do that? If I click right here right now, what I'm going to see is actually this particular null. So what do we do to actually have this clean so that we shouldn't have any some kind of when we get to Power BI right now, our analysis will not be complete and we'll have a lot of errors. So which means the end result will not be what it is that we are looking for. I'm going to right click on this particular part right here. So what I'm going to do right now is to go to where we have replace value. And what do I want to replace? So what we have that actually made it not to be 100% valid was this particular null, and that null is what we need to replace with 0. You get it? So I'm going to just type null. So be very careful when you want to do this. So the null we have right here is small letter, not capital letter. So this is some kind of case sensitive. Now if I go and try to actually replace this with capital NULL right now, it's not going to work. So for that, I'm going to type in my null right here. So I'm going to actually try to, as much as I could, to copy it because I don't want to do this over and over again. And I'm going to represent that with just 0. I'm going to click on OK. Let's see what we have right now. So here we go. So we have 100% valid and error 0, and T is actually 0% as well. So the same thing I have done to that one is what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to come right here. I'm going to say replace what? I'm going to say replace value. And quickly what I'm going to do once that comes up is for me to actually paste in what I have actually copied. And I'm going to put my 0 right here. I'm going to have to click on OK. And now quickly I'm going to have it on 100%. So I'm going to do it to every single columns we have right here. Okay, we have just done that, and as you can see, we have a lot of replace from let's say from 0 down to what? Down to 12 right here. That is beautiful. So the next thing we want to check right now is to see if the data types are really some kind of what it is that we should have, which is no, because what we're having right now is decimal. Instead of we having decimal, we're gonna put this to show whole number, because we are having whole number right here, so we don't have any decimal. And how do we do that? In case you don't know how to do this, so you can do it manually just like this, and actually come right here and find where we have the whole number. I'm going to click on whole number. It's going to actually add a new step, and everything's going to be all right. So I think we have that way to have that done right here. I'm going to go to transform and see what it is that I have. So what I'm going to do right now is to make sure I click on my Control A, and it's going to have everything some kind of selected for me. So once I have everything selected, I'm going to say detect data type. I'm going to click on that right here, and every single thing will change to a whole number, because the one we had previously before now was not a whole number but a decimal number. So right now I think I'm going to tell you firsthand that we have done the justification right here to have the data clean and transform beautifully the way we want it. So this is what it is that you need to do. Please follow every single step, and you will definitely have a good learning. Okay, the next thing we can do, I can now go to view and actually uncheck this, and quickly this is what it is. So I'm going to actually name this one data. So I'm going to hit enter, so I have it right here. Okay, this is beautiful. So we can now push to Power BI and see what it is. So go to home and close and apply, and let's just give it some time to have itself pushed to Power BI environment. Okay, here we have our data right here. So always remember to save. I'm going to actually come right here. I'm going to open this up, and we're going to go to save and click on save. And we have to save it with the name that we will be able to remember. I'm going to click right here, and what I'm going to have right now is some kind of recreation class. I'm going to click on this. This is the previous one we had created. I'm just going to type in here tried views. I'm going to hit my enter key, so we have it saved. So I had been saving behind the scene, but I think it's very important. So though it's not something that is some kind of like different. So we have the data right here. If I go to my data view right now, what I'm going to have is actually the data that we had actually worked on in Power Query, and we have everything right here, and it's as clean as what it is that we can work with. So beautifully, now that we have this right here, what next can we do is to bring in the template we're going to be working with to actually make the data, so make the dashboard very, very unique. Okay, let's do that. Okay, I always love to start from a new canvas. I'm just going to highlight this, as you always know. I'm going to take it off. So we want to have something as plain as this. And what can we do with this is for we to actually change the background color and actually start to do the rightful. Now to change the background color, I'm going to right click and come to this particular format background. I'm going to click on it, and once we have this up right here, I'm going to just go right here. I'm going to scroll down. What I'm going to use is this particular dark color right here. So we have this particular dark color. That is the first thing we should do. As you can see, our screen is now dark. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see the next thing I'm going to do. So let us go to the top level right here. I'm going to pick up this card. I'm going to drag it down. And you know what it is that I love to do? I just want to show you the size of what it is that I have right here. It's going to be 1.52. So we're going to do that by what? by 1.64. I'm gonna hit my enter key, and I'm gonna actually have to reduce this a little bit. The curveness is too much. I don't want to be too curvy. I'm gonna have something like this. So quickly, once we're done with that, I'm gonna move it to this particular part right here. I'm gonna have it right here. Okay, after having it right here, my shortcut is Alt J D and O, and we're gonna come right here right now and change it to this particular color, right? So this is what it is that we have. So I'm gonna move this one away. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna have it doubled. So I'm gonna move this right here. I'm gonna come to the top level. I'm gonna actually go to format, come right here. So we're gonna make this one to be 7.31, I presume. 7.31. So you wanna do that by what? By 1.86. So let's see what we have. So we have something like this. So we have to change the color of this particular one here. I'm gonna come right here. I'm gonna actually go ahead and pick this particular color for it. I think I'm not too satisfied with that, so I'm gonna pick this color. So now we have this color. So what we can do right now is just to move the outline of this. I'm gonna move it away, and if I take it this way right now, it's gonna go on top of this one. So I want it to go behind it. So what I'm gonna do is for me to actually make sure this one actually go right to the end. So I'm gonna make sure I right click on it. I want to go to this particular bring send to back, and here we go. We have this right click. This is what it is. The next thing I'm gonna do right now to make this one to be some kind of popped out, so I'm just gonna move this right closely. I'm gonna come right here. You know, I love to use this a lot because it makes my background to pop out a lot. I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna actually search for which one is gonna make sense a lot. I think it's gonna be something like this. So we just have to make sure we go. And let's see what it is that we have. So we have something like this. So it's some kind of too much. So I'm gonna click back on this, and I'm gonna have to make sure I reduce it to something like this. Let's see what we have right now. So I think I can actually click on it and come back right here. I'm gonna be some kind of making this one 60%. So I'm gonna make it 60%. Now that'll be cool. So I love it 60%. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is just to click on this, have it doubled. Right now we have to resize it to actually create other cards we're going to use for this dashboard. So we have to change the size, like the height and the weight. I'm going to make this one to be some kind of 1.36, I presume. Yeah, I think it's going to be the height. So the weight now is going to be 1.86. That's exactly what it is. So we have two cards right here. This is the first card. We've just created the first card, and I'm going to actually make sure I take it a little bit closer. I'm going to move it. Something like this will be cool for me. Okay, now I'm going to just double this and have this right here. And before I do anything, I want to have this one color changed. To change the color, I want to take this up. I'm going to come right here. I'm going to have to go here. I'm going to come. We don't have the color available, so I have to mix it. So I'm gonna put it 76, 94, and then we're gonna have this one to be 120. So here we go. We have something like this. I'm gonna click on OK, and there we go. We have it. So now that we've gotten this ready, I'm gonna actually make sure I have it right here to be a little bit closer. So the next thing I'm gonna do right now is just to highlight it and actually have this two copied. So I'm gonna have to duplicate it. I'm gonna move this one right here. I'm gonna have this here. So I'm gonna have equal justification. So I'm gonna have this one, double it. I'm gonna have it right here as well. I'm gonna have to extend this one right here. So something like this would be cool. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do right now is just to make sure I hold on my control to have all of them selected. So once I have all of them selected, I'm going to go to the top level right here. I'm going to go here. I'm going to actually say horizontally. I'm going to say vertically. That is the distribution. So I'm going to have equal, spacing for each of them. Okay, let me go to my Power BI service. So if you look at this right now, we have this design right here. So how did we make this? So I'm going to show you how I did it. It's very simple and easy. So I'm going to go back. Come back, and here we go. On this one, I'm going to have it some kind of duplicated. So let us duplicate this. I'm going to bring it down. So let me move this up. So now that we have both of them right here, I'm going to go for gradient fill, and there I have it. I think I'm having the previous one right here, which I'm not really cool with. So let's say we don't have this, we have it like this. And then we have a lot of stops just like this now, and we have it on variety of colors, like different types of colors right here, something like this. So maybe when you start new, this is what you're gonna have. So what we're gonna do is for you to actually click anywhere around and actually move these tops off, and we're gonna have two stops alone. So once we have these two stops right now, what I'm gonna do to this one is actually make it some kind of like 100%. So I'm gonna come right here, I'm gonna click on this, I'm gonna change it to the color I really want to use. I'm gonna use this particular color. So once I've done this, I'm gonna move this one, so it's gonna create something like this for me. Do you get it? It's gonna create something like this for me, but it has to deal with this particular, changing the positions. We had, okay, the directions, right here, like, can you see we have different directions? So just play around with the directions you have. So this is the direction I want to use. I love that. So if you can't find direction, just type in this particular 225. It's gonna give you the angle degree whatsoever. So this is what we have right now. So this is exactly how I want it to look like. So you can actually try to actually open it up or make it a little bit closer, and we're gonna have something like this. So once we are done, I'm gonna have to move this a little bit away, and now I can actually move this and overlap it with this one right here. Can you see that right now? So if you want to make sure this actually goes well, I'm gonna have duplicated because I'm gonna be needing this one again. I'm gonna come right here, I'm gonna click on this one, I'm gonna go to the top level right. I'm going to go to formats, and I need to go to this particular align. I'm gonna say align top, so I'm gonna go to the top. I'm gonna still click on it again. I'm gonna say align middle, and I'm gonna say center and all of that. So now it's kind of centralized right now. So how it's normally the way it should be. So the same thing I've done is what I'm gonna do to this one. So I'm gonna assume I can actually do it without doing that. I'm gonna actually have it placed and it's okay, right? So once we are done with that, the next thing I'm going to do again is actually having this one duplicated. I'm going to move it down. I'm going to come to the gradient fill. It's going to give me that automatically. So this is what I have. So I'm going to have to move it until I have this right. So can you see this right now? So it's just like the one we had actually seen previously on our Power BI service, which is the complete dashboard, how we just got it created. So we have something similar right now because we're trying to replicate everything we had done to create that particular beautiful, template. We have this giant one right here. So what I'm going to do right now is to just click on duplicate. I'm going to have it duplicated. I'm going to actually have to change the height and the weight for it to have equal, format with you as well. So let's go to the top level right here. I'm going to go and select formats. I'm going to make sure this one is some kind of like 3.05. So I'm going to do that by what? Do that by 3.99. And here we go. We have something like this. And quickly, I'm going to have to move it and have it right here. So we're gonna have something like this right here, and once we have this, I'm gonna actually still move it a little bit up. So I'm gonna have to duplicate this and have this right here right now. So for this very one, I'm gonna come to the top level. I'm gonna change the height to 2.41. I presume. I think it's gonna be some kind of 2.43. Let's see that. So I'm gonna have to move it down here. Okay, I think I'm correct. So that is exactly what it is. So we just want to have something like this, and nicely we have it. So I'm going to duplicate it again. I'm going to bring it back to the top left right here. So we have to change the formatting, like the dimension for it again as well. On this one, I'm going to be having this height to be 1.65 by what? By 6.8, something like this. Okay. We have it, and we just have to make sure we have it aligned properly, just like this. And now we can actually make sure we move this. Okay, we just have to make it like this. Okay, I think what I'm gonna do right now is just to make sure I move it a little bit closer, and I'm gonna have to duplicate this again. So now we have to make this one. So make this one 1.28, 1.28 by what? So by 2.16. So once I hit enter, I'm gonna have something like this, and we have to make sure this one sits right here, something like this. So cool. Okay, now if you look at what is going on right here right now, I'm gonna have to duplicate this one. Once I have it duplicated, Alt JD and O will bring this up for me, and quickly I want to have this changed to something like, I'm gonna have this one changed instead. I'm gonna have this one changed like this color right here, this color. So I'm gonna have this one to go, and here we go. We're gonna have something just like this. So can you see this right now? This is beautiful. So we have something just like this. So this is how we got this created. So I duplicated this one again now. So we just have to change it right here. I'm gonna go to this particular format. I'm gonna say 2.what or 2.22 by what by 2.12. So here we go. We have something just like this right here. I'm gonna have to duplicate this again. Have it duplicated. So I'm gonna bring it down to this particular part right here. So before we do anything to this one, I'm gonna have this one color changed to something like this. I'm gonna come right here right now. I want to have this one to have some kind of fit to this particular end. So we just have to move it a little bit up right here, and then we just have to make sure we get this one down, something like this, and we have to make sure this one some kind of like even the same thing. I'm gonna have to bring this one right here, and quickly what I'm gonna do right now is just to highlight this particular part right here all, and I'm gonna have to move this one down a little bit, and then until we have something just like this. Okay, sitting right, I'm gonna have something like this, huh? Okay, now let us close it and see what it is that we have right now. Can you see it right? It's beautiful. This is what we have. And if I take you to the previous one I had actually created, let me go show you. So can you see right now? The only thing that is different right now is the right up we have right here to actually show the name of like the LinkedIn, you know, is a page, yeah, the LinkedIn page that is actually, you know, doing this particular amazing stuff. So which is database challenge, so database analysis. So you can do it. It's just some kind of a text, you know, inside a text box, and you just have to make sure you get to use the right character to make sure it pops out very well and all of that. So that is what it is that you need to do. And for this one right here, it's very simple and easy. In case you're not some kind of sure of how I did it, let me go show you what it is that I have done right here. So I'm going to go right here. I'm going to come to this particular part. I want to come right here and pick up this particular circle. I'm going to hold my shift down to have the proper circle right on it. So once I have it down right now, I'm going to have to move it to this particular end. So I'm going to zoom. So Alt JD plus O would help me to bring this up. And once I have this up right now, what we're going to have is actually this. Let me see. So what we can do right now for this particular inner color of it, I'm going to actually choose this particular color for the inner color. So can you see that right now? That is the color for the inner color of it. Oh, sorry, we need the white for it. And I'm going to come down. I'm going to come to this particular, the line aspect right now. I'm going to choose this particular color. And for that, I want to make sure this particular line actually swallowed this whole, white color. So what I'm going to do right now is just to keep increasing until I'm actually satiated with what I have. Something just like this. So if I'm cool with this right now, I can actually say, okay, this is what it is. So I can actually reduce it a little bit by holding your shift key down. And once you've done that, you can duplicate it and move it down and duplicate this one and have it just like this down, something like this. So this is what we had done to have this particular part right here created just like this. So you can make it a little bit smaller, not to be some kind of too huge and all of that. So this is exactly what it is. So right now we are ready. The next thing we're going to do right now is to make sure we export this to the file, the folder where we can actually pick it from to actually have it on Power BI our desktop and start creating the analysis that we need to create and stuff like that, which I believe everyone can do by now, because we had been doing this from the inception of this particular lecture and everyone could do that. So if you, in case you can't do it, just go to file, and from file what you can do, click on export, and from export click on file. It depends on the version of PowerPoint you're using. So if you're using PowerPoint 365, it's going to be different. So 2019 to 2016 has a lot of difference. So you just have to make sure you go to save. I'll save as another file type, and once you have that open, what you can see, you're going to see a lot of extension. You can actually save it as, so come right here and search for what you want to now look for. So JPEG or PNG, either of it will go, all of that. So save it, and we are going to pick it up from there and start to create our amazing dashboard. So how about this? Okay, right now it is time to pick your template. Come right here and make this one some kind of like 0% from 100%. So click right here and go pick it up and I'm gonna click on this particular place. So navigate to your system and pick it from where you have saved it in. I'm gonna double click on that, and here we go. We have this. So can you see how beautiful it is right now? Already, without we haven't to some kind of like even create anything right on it. So we have it as beautiful as what we actually have right on the Power BI service. So now it is time to get more interesting on the creation right here. So don't worry about this. I think it's gonna be my network. So I have disconnected my network, and I'm gonna actually take care of that. Okay, now here we are. So what we're going to first of all do is to calculate the total parents, heads, perpetrators, foster parents, and unmarried parents right here. So these are very important, because after this we're going to be branching out from here to actually get more story tell about the child abuse, report. Okay, now what are we going to do for the first time? You know what it is already. I'm going to have this place collapsed, and after I have done that, I will quickly add a new word. Come to home, and we add enter new data, which is having a new table, a measure table. We're going to create for this. I'm going to actually come right here. I'm going to have to create. So I just got this particular all measure table created, and if we have it open right now, it's just nothing inside. It's nothing inside it. So what we can do is just actually create our first measure. Okay, before we do that, you have to understand what is going on right here. Okay, let me take you to the Excel version to see what it is that we have right here. Now on the Excel version, we have this particular child care. So if I actually see, you have child care provider, foster parents, and all of that, and we have states. So we want to see the number of states we are dealing with for the first time. And what we can do right now, I'm going to go back here. I'm going to click on this one here. And once I've done that, what I'm going to do right now is just to come and have this one clicked, and actually, you can right click on this, and what you're going to see right now is new measure. So once the measure actually pops out, we can start to actually get things done the way it should be. Okay, quickly, we're now some kind of okay, this is what it is. Okay, now I'm going to say total states. So the total state right now, what we can do is to actually have this calculated. It's not actually a value, but some kind of a text, some text, right? So what we can do is just to give a distinct count to have that created. So distinct count, and what we want to do, we just want to type in state, and once you type in state, you can see the column right here inside the table data. I'm going to actually close that, and actually I have that hit, and there we go. We're going to have it. So what I'm going to do right now, in case if I have it in 1000, so your formatting should be comma separator. That is what it is. Okay, now we're going to have values of how many states we have, and after we're done with that, we can create a new measure, and this new measure is going to actually be some kind of so it will help us to calculate the total parents. So what are we going to do right now? So now we have to use sum function. So once we use sum function, what we can do right now, we need the parents. So what you just need to do is type the parents. So once we type parents, so all the places we have piece will definitely pops out, and we just have to choose the one that has parents alone. So we are not actually calculating for this right now, but for this, I'm going to click OK. And what I'm going to do right now is to make sure, okay, total parents, like I have it before, and I want to just go ahead and actually say, okay, close this. And what I'm going to do right now is just to come right here and use something different to actually, get that. I can actually go ahead and use something like this particular, so number of parents. So that hashtag will always represent number of parents. So once we have done this, we just have to make sure the comma separator goes as well right on it. Okay. Right here, we've just gotten everything created. So what we're going to do right now is for you to come back right here, and we just have to actually say, okay, now for total appearance, I'm going to actually come right here. I'm going to click on this, and we want to have turn this to cards. I'm going to come here. I want to turn this off. I'm going to actually come right here. So click on this one. I'm going to make this one 55. So quickly, I want to make this one some kind of white color. So now here we go. I'm going to have to make it a little bit smaller. So click on this particular part right here and have the background turned off, and this is what we're gonna have. We're gonna have to place this right here. This is exactly what we have gotten in the previous one, right? So once I'm done with this, I'm gonna actually go ahead and copy this. Ctrl V will help me to paste it down. I'm gonna have to move it around. Ctrl V will paste it down for me. Ctrl V will paste it down for me. I'm gonna have to move this around until I have So now here we go. So I have to create for this particular, now just change it, just make a change. So I want to put my numbers of states right here. As you can see, it's the states right here. I have it. I'm going to come right here. I'm going to actually go and select this particular perpetrator right here. I'm going to come right here. Then I'm going to change that to this. And quickly, I want to do this last one right here. And now we don't want to leave it this way. We just want to change the formatting a little bit to, to make it stand out. Okay, let me see if I can actually format it them all at once. I'm going to highlight to this particular end. Okay, I think it's not gonna work. I'm gonna do it individually. I'm gonna hold my control. I'm gonna have this highlighted because I don't want to highlight the top one. So once I've done this, I want to do it at the same time. I'm gonna come right here. I'm gonna come open this place up. I'm gonna bring this one to 45. So I'm telling this would be cool. So now this is what it is that we want. So this is exactly what it is. So now we've just gotten this part right now. That is beautiful. So the next part we want to actually have to make something on right now is this particular part. Then we know that just keep here very well and just do them, all of that. So right on this one, what we can do now is this. So we're gonna have some kind of this right here. It's very simple. You can do it. I just want to keep the tutorial very short. So what we just have right here is the text box, and we have this typed in. And once you have it typed in, what you can see right now, we have this particular font type and font thing, and you have the color to be some kind of white, and we'll make it some kind of like bold, and that is all we need to do and all of that. So next thing for me to do is just to actually bring this down right here. I'm gonna copy and have it. I'm gonna have this one right here right now. So we just have to reduce it and bring this right here. I'm gonna copy and have it pasted 3 times, and so go ahead and take this one right here. Now we can actually make a change to see what it is that we are trying to do. So what we can do quickly to have this right now is just to click on this and come right here and search for what? Child. Can you see that right now? Child daycare provider. So we have that. So we can't really have it until we have this removed. And I'm going to go ahead and check this. And I'm going to click on this one right here. I'm going to come right here and select some kind of like multiple. So we're going to have it. So we just want to pick the measure. So we just have to make sure we get this one away from here. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to have that. I'm going to come for the Lego, guidance right here. I'm going to type in Lego. So already I have the measure right here. So to tile like a guidance. So if you can't see it so well right now, just move it and you're gonna see that okay, we have it right here. So I'm gonna actually check this and make sure you have this removed. Take this off and we're gonna have this right. So now we have all this. So now that we have all this, what we can do next right now is for we to actually start to tell the remaining part of the story, because those are the most important part of it that we need to actually branch out from to actually create our part. So in case you're wondering what did we do and how did we get it, it's very simple. We still use the same sum function to actually make sure we have this columns and kind of sum together to know how many Lego guardians we have. If I actually make sure I actually give you what it is right now, it's going to give us the sum of the guardians right here and all of that. So the same thing we had done in the Power BI environment right here, and it gives us what we want. And the next thing is for we to actually, create the other part that is kind of very important for we to show this nicely. So as you can see, it's taking shape and it's going to look beautiful when we are done with this.